Good morning student, myself Millie Sankla, and today our subject design of prestressed concrete structure. We continue with our module 3, that is design of flexure member of prestressed concrete. Now today we discuss our new topic, that is composite section. Okay, now how we use composite section in prestressed concrete element. Now first of all, in introduction portion we understand what is composite. Now, a composite section in context of prestressed concrete member refer a section with precast member and cast in place concrete. Okay, to understand the concept of composite section for prestressed concrete, we understand the two terms, that is precast member and second is cast in place concrete, and short form of this cast in place concrete is CIP, cast in place concrete. There can be several type of innovative composite section. Okay, and here I take three images of composite section. First one is like box girder, second one is like I, and this one is the T. Okay, box girder, then I girder and T girder. Okay, this one is the section of composite section. Now we understand what is composite structural member. Okay, now in composite structural member, precast prestressed member are used in conjunction with concrete cast in situ, so the member behave as a monolithic unit under service load is called composite construction. Okay, in composite construction, the precast prestressed member is used with cast in situ concrete and it is behave as a monolithic bond, so that this is our composite structural member. Okay, the bond between this precast prestressed member and this cast in concrete sheet is behave as a monolithically, and this is known as our composite structural member. Now how the stresses are induced in this composite structural member, that we understand. In composite structural member, high stress prestress unit are used in tension zone. Okay, and cast in situ of relatively lower compressive strength is used in compression strength is used in compression zone of composite member. Simply, in prestress we use high strength prestress unit, and that is as a tension zone, and in casting situ we use a lower compressive strength in compression zone, and combination of this prestressed and cast in situ is act as a composite structural member. Okay, now next, this one is the image of I girder, and how this I girder is used as a composite structural member, that we understand. Top, this one is the flange and middle portion is known as a web. Now this top flange is act as a cast in situ concrete and it is subjected to lower compressive strength, and this middle portion web and bottom flange is act as a precast high strength compressive. Okay, and bond between this cast in situ and second precast high strength compressive is act monolithic under working load. Okay, this one is the case of working stretch. When it is subjected to service, then another. Okay, bond between this cast in situ and second precast high strength compressive is monolithic. Now next, composite action between two components is achieved by roughing the surface of prestressed unit onto which concrete is cast in situ. Okay, now to act as a composite member, the cast in situ and second one is the precast is roughing surface between these two members, and it is ultimately converted into the composite action. Okay, now here the better frictional resistance or by stirrups producing from prestressed unit into added concrete or by castellation on surface of prestressed unit adjoining the concrete which is cast in situ. Simply, to achieve the strength of composite member, we provide stirrups also. Okay, and simply we can understand the bond is monolithically, okay, and by roughing the surface of this cast in situ and this precast member, ultimately the member is behave as a composite section, okay. Now next, why we use this composite section, what is the advantage of this composite section? One by one we discuss. First one is saving the formwork, okay. Due to this composite section, the formwork cost is reduced. Second, fast track construction, because some portion is precast and some portion is cast in situ, so that use of this two method, construction will be fast compared to other member. Then next, easy to connect the member and achieve continuity, because here we use a friction between two members, okay. So here easy to connect the member of cast in situ and second precast pre-stress member, okay, and it is achieve continuity in member also. Then fourth one is composite construction are identically suitable for construction of bridges, deck without disturbing the normal traffic, okay. Now major advantage of this composite section is used for bridge construction, and in bridge construction it is used without disturbing the traffic, okay. Now efficient utilization of material in composite section result reduce dead load, leading to overall economy. It is true that in composite construction, in composite section, overall the dead load is reduced, okay. If dead load, that means sulfate of structure is reduced. If sulfate of structure is reduced, that means our material is reduced, and overall economy we achieve in our structure when we use this type of composite structural member in pre-stressed concrete member, okay. This one is the advantage of composite construction. Now here you take a different type of images of composite construction. This one is the eye girder, and top is our deck slab, and this deck slab is cast in situ, okay, that is construction on site, and this eye girder is precast, that means this already construction and use here. Now in second image, look at this again, this one is the eye girder and this one is precast, and distribution sheet is provided in deck slab. In this image, in third image, look at this, voids and lightweight cords are provided between this eye girders, okay, and this one is like a box girder, okay, and this top is cast in situ, and this box girder is precast pre-stress beam, okay. Now next, to construct composite member we use a two type of method. First method is propped method and second is unpropped. Unpropped method second name is unsawed method, and propped method of second name is shawed method. Now one by one, what is propped and what is unpropped? Here I take two images. First one is our shawed or propped, and second one is our unsawed or unpropped, okay. And here look at this, one vertical member is provided in first image, in second image only and only this eye girder, no supporting is provided. Now understand the concept of propped and unpropped. Now first of all, shawed or second name is propped. Girder is supported by temporary false work when slab is cast, okay. This one is shawed or propped, and this girder is provided to support the slab. False work is removed when the slab is hardened, okay. Here the false work is this supported eye girder is removed when slab is is hardening, okay. Now in unsawed or second name is unpropped, girder is not supported when slab is cast, okay. Look at this, this one is eye girder. Here this girder is not supported when slab is casting, and this is the case of unpropped or unsawed. This one is the method of construction of composite structural member. Next one, now what is the difference between unpropped method and propped method? In first, prefabricated unit support dead load of wet concrete and construction live load due to accidental formwork, Okay, here we use a prefabricated unit to support a dead load of our wet concrete. Okay, and it is subjected to accidental formwork. Now in propped method, prefabricated unit remains supported on props, and during the laying and curing of cast in situ concrete, when the prop removed, whole unit act as a single unit to carry a dead load and live load. Okay, this one is the phenomena of this prop, and here this one is the unpropped method. Now sulfate is taken as load P and eccentricity, and sulfate of cast in situ concrete is also calculated. Just in sulfate of in situ cast in situ concrete, Z composite section we use, and same things are there. Live load stresses property of composite section we consider, and here live load stress is again properties of composite section we consider. Okay, simply the difference in first one. Okay, now next, stress distribution in composite structure. Here we take stress distribution in composite structure in form of cast in situ, and second is our precast prestressed member. First one is our T girdle. Top flange is cast in situ, and this one is a web. Okay, and web is our precast prestressed, but this one's, look at this, it is unpropped. Okay, now what is the stress condition to this T section? First one is initial stress we apply. Then after initial stress, what will be happen? Effective stress is induced. Then this will the condition of self-weight stress of precast beam. This one is the precast, and here stress due to cast in situ. Okay, top flange is our cast in situ condition. This one is the stress condition of cast in situ, and live load stresses. Okay, and the accidental load are acting on this T section, and this will be count in live load. And finally this one is the resultant stress of our composite structure. Now in second case, look at this, this is again a propped. Okay, and here this precast unit. Okay, now again we apply here initial stress. After that effective stress is induced, then again sulfate of this precast unit, then stress due to this cast in situ, live load, and finally this one is the resultant stress of our composite construction. Okay, and this one is the stress distribution diagram of composite structure for propped and unpropped construction. Now what is shear connector? Why we use this shear connector in our pre-stressed concrete member? Effective bonding between two parts of composite beam may be developed by providing castellation in precast unit or by projecting reinforcement from precast unit is known as shear connector. Okay, here main thing is shear connector is used between bonding between two parts. Okay, and it is used as a projected part of our member. Okay, look at this, this one is the projected part, and this is used as a shear connector. Shear connector is a steel projection provided on the top flange of steel composite bridge girder to provide necessary shear transfer between steel girder and composite slab to act as a composite action. Ultimately, use of this shear connector is to transfer a shear forces, okay, of steel girder to our composite slab. Okay, look at this, this one is our section is given, steel section is given, and this number of steel connectors are provided to transfer one load to another. Okay, now in next session we discuss the analysis of this composite section. Okay, just now we stop here.